Hello everyone, it's Brian here in Toronto. Let's do a contest entry. This one will be for Daryl, also known as the Northern Vinyl Guy. Now, I've gotten to know Daryl a little bit because we were on some videos and live streams together, so I can tell you that he's a cool guy. He just passed a year in the vinyl community, so like some other people have done, he is running a contest to mark the achievement, something I have never done after 1 year or 2 years and even 3 years, which is coming up in like 5 days, and I'll think about it. I think I'm far too disorganized to administer a contest. In any case, this is an interesting contest because the prize is rather fun. So you can choose, if you were the winner, you can choose to accept a number of CDs he has designated as the prize, or you can choose what I think is a far more interesting prize, and that is that he will put on a pair of shorts and a t-shirt, run outside, it's winter here now of course, and dive into a snowbank while his wife films it. Now keep in mind, as I mentioned, this is winter, and Daryl lives in northern Ontario, so Northern Vinyl Guy is an appropriate name for his channel, but I mean he's in polar bear country, so keep that in mind. I actually think that I would choose the snowbank option. In fact, I said in a comment that I know what I'm choosing. So Daryl, if I do win, you don't even have to ask me. Just go ahead and jump in the snowbank. I'm looking forward to seeing the video, and I hope everyone chooses that option. So okay, there's 9 components here. Let's get going. First is share a song lyric that has a unique, unusual, or strange word in it. My first inclination was to choose a Lou Reed song, but at the last minute I switched to this record from the Hold Steady called Stay Positive from 2008, a double record, which is really cool. And I bought this in Victoria, British Columbia. I remember that. So on the first record, side A, the second track is called Sequestered in Memphis. And I have been thinking about this, and I don't think I know of another song that uses the word sequester or sequestered. If you do know one, please let me know. I'd be curious to know. But here's the second part for the song. So that's only part of the lyrics. Craig Finn sings, subpoenaed in Texas, sequestered in Memphis. And again, I don't think I know of another song that uses either the words subpoena or subpoenaed. But please let me know if you know of one. Nothing comes to mind. So this is one of my favorite bands. I keep saying that every time I talk about this band, I say they're a favorite of mine. The first 5 or 6 records I think are just genius. They still make great music, although I have a fondness for the first few records from them. Great band. Highly recommend them. Number 2, show a vinyl record pressing from your collection that is not from the country you live in. So obviously most of my vintage pressings here are from Canada, but I do have a number of, well, I guess they're called imports, and that is because of, I don't know. I mean, I guess it's just things that showed up here, but also because, especially back in the day, a lot of records weren't pressed domestically in Canada. I think maybe record labels felt that certain bands were too esoteric or too avant-garde to have to warrant pressing them here, and so you just have to go to a record store and find an import, and some record stores specialize in imports. So here's an example of a record that was never pressed in Canada. It's Pere Ubu's New Picnic Time. This is from the Netherlands, believe it or not. So even to this day, it's never been released domestically either on vinyl or compact disc, which is curious, but that's not unusual. I mean, I do have a number of imports from other places, like UK being a big one, United States, and then, West Germany, France, Spain. But the Netherlands, I have quite a few from there. Not really sure why, that country in specific, but that's one that was never pressed here. Number 3, this is kind of a two-parter depending on where you live. If you are from Canada, show an album from a province that borders the one you live in, or a US state that borders the one you live in. So the second part is for people who don't live here, so I'll just stick with this. So Ontario borders 2 provinces, those being Manitoba and Quebec. But we also border Michigan, Minnesota, and New York. And as I discovered yesterday, I was kind of surprised to hear or read that Canada technically borders Pennsylvania, which surprised me because you cannot drive to Pennsylvania without passing through another state. But because Pennsylvania has a portion of the state on the coast of Lake Erie, and so does Ontario, they're considered to be border states, border Canada. We border on each other, which is weird because you'd have to take a boat or swim there or something. But having said all that, I'm going to choose something from Quebec. So In my last video, I talked about a bunch of new records I got from Constellation Records in Montreal, and so I'm going to show another one. This is an artist called Saltland, and the record's called A Common Truth, the second release from this outfit in 2011. Now, I said band or outfit or group or whatever, but it's actually one person. She's from Vancouver, but she now lives in Montreal, and she was originally part of the Silver Mount Zion Memorial Orchestra, or Silver Mount Zion, also Esmerine and Set Fire to Flames. Again, you know, Constellation Records has a number of artists who appear on each other's records, or there's offshoots in different bands. It's really interesting and vibrant. So this person, Rebecca Foon, is a cellist. So that's what this record is. But I wouldn't want you to think that it's cello music like you'd hear from Yo-Yo Ma. It's actually quite different. So let me show you what's in here first. Record in a polyline sleeve. Right, and as usual, Constellation gives you some nice inserts. So there is this insert here. Download card, of course. This cover art. I guess that's a piece of salt there. I'm gonna just, there's a download card, and there's a hype sticker I wanted to mention because there was something about this record I didn't know until I actually bought it. So it says, Rebecca Foon presents a drone and loop-based record of gorgeous restraint and meditative intensity using acoustic, amplified, processed, and sampled cello. So again, not what you'd expect from a cello, but I think it's a beautiful record, very well done. Now, half of this record is instrumental and half of it has vocals. So it says, with special guest Warren Ellis on the album's 4 instrumentals. I wonder how many people know that. I didn't know it until I had it in my hands. Really interesting. This is again, really great record. It's pressed very well. It sounds really great. It's avant-garde, though. It's not pop music by any means. More in the post-rock kind of genre, I would say, but really, really cool. Number 4, show a music item paraphernalia from your collection. Wasn't quite sure what to show there, so I grabbed this book called 1000 Record Covers, which came out in 1996 originally from Taschen. It is really cool. It starts with an essay for each decade and then shows you some really cool album covers. 1,000 actually. Some people are naked, so I can't show you that page. That person's also naked. Here we go. You get the idea. So really great collection of album covers, which I quite like. And I also love the jacket design on this one. Show an 80s album, dead easy for me. So which of the thousands of records from the 80s should I show? So I just went back to the early 80s, 1980. I think this came out in the first half of 1980. A really important record for me because it is part of that musical discovery. It's not really that strange to think about it now, but at the time this was kind of a revelation to me. Squeeze, Argy Bargy from, I think, January or February 1980. My sister had this record first. I bought it later. And I think partly because I kept seeing the videos for Pulling Muscles and Another Nail in My Heart, which I thought were really cool. They got a lot of radio play. This is probably my favorite Squeeze record. I guess there's that theory that whatever record you hear first from a band is your favorite. I'm not sure that's always true, but it's definitely true in this case. I may have heard Cool for Cats before I bought this record, or before I heard this record, but I'm not 100% sure. But this is really a really great record that I still listen to because I think it's just really solid all the way through. I don't think there's a bad song on here. They played in Toronto recently. I didn't see them. A friend of mine did, but I guess I missed it. Number 6, discuss a struggle or challenge of collecting music. No one is ever going to encounter the struggles that Daryl has. If you go back and watch his videos, he talks about how remote the town he lives in is, how there's no road into his town. There's, I think, a nice road in winter, but if he wants to go somewhere, if he wants to drive down south, he has to put his vehicle on a train and have it shipped out. He has a post office box. Not everyone will ship there. So he has real challenges. So by contrast, nothing I say is going to seem that challenging. But, you know, and this comes up with other people. I do have a space issue. This whole wall is records. They used to be in the dining room. I moved them down, sort of give some relief to other people in the house. And so there's a limited amount of space I can expand, believe it or not, because I have my work area over there, and then there's like a TV over here. So, I mean, it's not really a bad problem, really. I mean, I guess I could have talked about expense, but that's everyone faces that. So that's just I would just say space is an issue. I will have to do another purge at some point. Number 7, name a Grail or sought out album that you would like to get in 2025. Weirdly, I'm going to show you the record that I want to get. One of the records I want to get. This is Rush, Test for Echo from 1996. This is not the real deal, though. If you watched any of the videos I did in Boston, one of them, I showed the records I got there, and I talked about this record because I inadvertently bought an unofficial pressing. I guess I was duped somehow. In the record store, I saw this, and I kind of assumed that it was the right thing, but it turns out it's not. It's pressed in Holland, I think. It's on blue vinyl. There's an etching on one of the discs. I mean, it sounds okay, but I was kind of irritated because I guess I should have known, because the image on here isn't as crisp as it should be. But anyway, end of last year, there was a re-release of some 4 Rush albums in a box that I didn't know about until after they were already sold out, including Test for Echo, Roll of Bones, Counterparts, and Presto. I have an original pressing of Presto, but these apparently are being repressed and will be available, I think, the end of January, end of this month. So I will check those out. I'm not going to buy Presto probably. I will get the rest. That is to say, unless they're insanely expensive, like sometimes new records here are $69 or $79. So we'll see about that, but I would like to get those on vinyl. Number 8, show an album that people would be surprised to know that you own. Okay, this will be a surprise. This is Willie Nelson's Always on My Mind. I haven't had this very long. It came to me in a box of free records. I'm not sure if I'm going to keep it. I do know the track Always on My Mind, of course. There's some things I was surprised to find on here. A Whiter Shade of Pale cover version of Bridge Over Troubled Water. I haven't heard those. This is from 1982. I'm not a country music fan, so we'll listen to this at some point and probably... Well, will I keep it? Probably not. Well, we'll see. But I don't have high hopes for it because I don't know. This country music just doesn't sit well with me. It never has, really. So yeah, you might be surprised to learn that I have that. I think I have 3. Apart from Johnny Cash, I think I only have 3 country things that I would consider to be country records. Okay. Number 9, shout out a favorite non-VC related YouTube channel you like. So, bit of a challenge there, but I chose a thing that ultimately may be VC related. I do enjoy watching What's in My Bag at the Amoeba Records YouTube channel, which I think is fascinating, because I'm always surprised. It seems like when you see a band or an artist, the things they have often don't really seem like the things they would be listening to, which is kind of funny. So I do like watching that. That's just one. I don't know how many subscribers they have. They certainly don't need help for me to get subscribers. So that's one I will choose for that question. So thanks for watching. Go check out Daryl's channel, and I'll see you in the next video.